I don't know why it's happening, but we have the expert, and that is Mr. Lwanga from UPC. Mr. Lwanga Christopher Apollo, you are most welcome.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm very happy to be here.
Yes.
And wherever I'm called to contribute, I always come. The party is always well represented,
yes,
and the party is a servant of the people. Greetings from the party president, Honorable Jim Akena. Greetings from UPC fraternity at Uganda House and in the country, Africa, and in the diaspora. There are quite a number of people who are following this program, and they admire the quality of it and the level at which it is very informative and educative.
Wow, thank
you.
And
of course, I have also to remember my fellow community leaders in the PWD, Chengera Town Council, and the Kaboja A. Yes.
Wow. Thank you, dear viewer that is watching. Everybody out there, like Mr. Lwanga has said, we do not take it for granted that you choose to watch us, and we are here to inform you. And as we talk about UPC, that is Uganda People's Congress Party, I want to say congratulations on your winning recently. There was a lot of heat out there when we were trying to fill up the late Cecilia's place, and you came out victorious. We can only say congratulations. But we are here to talk about what is happening everywhere, and things are quite not making sense to so many people who are running from one party to another. Some no longer know whether green is green or lemon green, and then others are thinking maybe also others are jumping from somewhere. I won't be saying where you are putting on a particular color in there, but we know you are here to represent UPC, but you have a lot of information when it comes to the rest of the political parties. So I believe we are sorted when it comes to the political landscape, and the very first thing that we need to ask Mr. Lwanga.
Yes, please.
How has the political landscape changed here in Uganda since 2020?
A lot of changes are coming in, and they are coming in from the backdrop that our elections after 2020, or slightly thereafter, they were influenced more by COVID, because we are experiencing COVID, and the COVID really held up the momentum of political parties to do things in their own style. From holding public rallies, we started holding meetings. And when you are holding meetings, the capacity by which you disseminate your information is very much limited, and the fanfare by which you articulate your issues is also very much limited. And every time you are so much cautious not to break the law because of the various COVID restrictions which were put in place. Then at the same time also, it became more expensive for each individual political party. Because remember, we have a culture of NGO, NGO culture. When NGO culture comes in, it means that you invite people, you have to feed them, you have to transport them. So political parties were also subjected to that. Okay?
Yes.
And then at the same time also, you had to look for venues, because they were in-house, almost in-house meetings.
And then we have the social distance.
Yes, the social distance. Then you have to hire a special place. All that came in, and it caused a lot of problems. And remember also, we are burying a few of our relatives and friends and party members that they have died of COVID. They have died of COVID. They have died. So it was a big challenge, and it was a big sacrifice. Whether Uganda to proceed ahead and exercise their right to vote, or to shelve until COVID is over.
Until it passes.
Yes. However, one important thing which we must know, on July 2020, there was a new kid on the block who even may have caused more challenges. Yes. Here we are having an experience of a new party being born from an old party. This is now NUP. It came in 2020, and it came with a bang. And immediately it assumed the position of the main opposition political party in parliament, and it also dominated now. Central or Buganda region. That one in itself, it has to be looked at critically, because you find, by and large, the key supporters of this new kid on block were mainly the youth. And since they were mainly the youth who came in March and who came in heavily, tapping into the youth is also another important experience. Then also, there are some lessons which came in with the NUP coming and becoming a main opposition political party in parliament. It showed that people can do some block of voting, and it gives them a bargaining position. So we may have a situation where our party politics may take a pattern like of Kenya, where you have to consolidate in your region, where you have strengths, and then you talk after you have pocketed your region. And the 2021-2022 experience is likely to influence 2026 experience.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And that experience also plays out in a certain manner, because a person who wins the presidential race has to win by 50+1 vote. So if somebody takes away one region, and another one who takes away another region, and another one who takes away another region,
it
means we are poised for a run.
Yeah, it's a tie.
Okay. And when the dynamics go for a run, of course there you get fresh alliances. The incumbent would like to get some people who would help to get 50+1. The main leader who has become second will also try to promise other people. So the way I'm reading it, each region is starting to warm up and saying, no, we must have a block vote.
Yes.
We must try to emulate what the NUP did. Okay? Whether you may call it a wave, it happened, and it may set a platform for other bigger things. At the same time also, 2021 elections showed that anything can happen, because there were so many senior politicians from the ruling party who could not make it. Okay? Who could not make it. However, at the same time also, other parties who invested in their tactics, like my party, UPC, we consolidated our baby steps. Yes, we consolidated on our baby steps, and our strategy was drum up the grassroots representation, drum up the grassroots structure, and compete from councillor, LC1, and what have you, compete from there. And as you compete, as you continue competing, you consolidate your visibility at the grassroots level, such that you have momentum for 2026. And indeed, if you see, the baby steps of UPC are starting to pay dividends. Yeah. Yes, they are starting to pay dividends.
It actually
then at the same time also, our politics goes with a lot of issues. And we only pray that the country can know how to handle and its various political parties. We have seen a trend of independence. People who come and say, I'm independent, I'm standing as an independent.
Only after being dropped.
After being dropped from a competitive party primaries. That syndrome also, we have to find a way how we contain it and how we may reach to have candidates by consensus, or doing the real party primaries, and we don't have so much of that experience. Independents tend to be spoilers at the end of the day, because this is a younger nation which is trying to build institution. There is no institution you can build when you are independent. Instead, you are taking advantage of the naivety of the voters.
That is
you
true.
are taking advantage of the situation which has not worked out amicably. You are taking advantage of sentimental feelings. And that's why you see that some of the people who have tried independent for one term or two, they retreat back and they say, yeah, I've come back to a political party. Because you really need a team.
Yes.
You cannot be a leader when you are independent. You don't have a team, you don't have an institution. That one is also starting to show. Then the 2020 experience, 2021, also showed that the rate at which politics has been commercialized each day is increasing. And if we continue with this heavy commercialization of politics, we may also have a very, very big problem. Where shall we get the money to participate in a commercialized process of the campaigns? It is actually hitting us very hard, and it is causing a lot of challenges.
And lots of corruption.
Yes.
That is why we see a lot of it.
Yeah, but these elections of Uganda are very strange. You find that a potential candidate, let me say an MP, wants to go for MP race. He has to pay first a fee of 3 million. Then one who is aspiring for a presidential race has to pay 20 million. And yet the taxpayer at the same time also contributes to the Electoral Commission, and the Electoral Commission gets a vote. So even there should be some serious considerations of what should be done, okay? Because it is so prohibitive. Then the other element we are having, which is still an outcry from 2020, 2021, is the delay to introduce political and the constitutional reforms.
Yes.
Other politicians, other political parties are saying, when you go for campaigns and this POMA, it is a law to regulate rallies, to regulate meetings of political parties. It was taken to higher authorities, courts of law, and the courts of law said no. This law is wrongly applied. Police authorities and other security wings are supposed to be notified that so and so will be recovered at such and such a time. Please provide the necessary security. But police has taken it that it is them to give the permission.
Oh yeah.
Now you find that you people who are not in politics, you don't understand it. But understand it in this way. If there is any UPC activity in Arua, and maybe it is done by the people in West Nile, the headquarters itself here has to seek permission from Naguru for an activity in Arua. So what we are saying now, when parties are starting to evolve and to gain momentum, if this POMA is there, it is still restrictive. And much as it is restrictive, let it be even decentralized.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Such that if it is people of Arua, they approach the authorities in Arua.
Yeah.
If it is people of Kabale, they approach the Kabale people, all Jinja people. But making it so restrictive like that, it does not help. And it does not promote governance and democracy. Because almost each party needs to consult, needs to discuss with the people. Policies are coming day in, day out, day in, day out. How do you get the feedback when you cannot?
Lot of bureaucracy.
Yes. Okay. So.
Well, Mr. Lwanga, we realize there is lots of challenges right there that we need to get into, and I have picked the last one, and I want to get into a break with that one, that there is a lot of bureaucracy which is actually unnecessary. We shall be seeing that and lots more to come, especially when it comes to the current major political issues after this break.
Issues at hand Powered by
Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Comfort and luxury at its best.
When people die, they are good. A dead body is always good. He has done us good. We cannot replace him. There's no one who is replaceable. There's no one. But what can help you? It is to leave a good legacy that people will remember you.
Sometimes I share with my students a small story of an animal which normally is regarded to be the wisest, the hare. Once in a meeting of animals chaired by the lion, which was the king of the animals, he said that all those who are in the meeting and are not married should go out. This is for the marrieds. And then the hare put up a hand. I have a question, Mr. Chairman. Yes. What is it? He said, what about some of us who sleep like married people? Should we also go?
And may I say to those of you who are not yet married, determine what kind of family you want to raise. Because the family that you raise, the children that you get, you will either sink them or you will raise them up to be good citizens and good people in the church.
If you read Proverbs 16:1, they tell you that the plans of the heart belong to man, but the answer of the tongue is from the Lord.
Because we all need love. As long as we are humans, we need love. Now he says yes, but I'm praying that you will experience the greater love.
Ramesses, you grew up together, close as brothers.
Remember the prophecy. Samson, chosen by the living God.
You dare to defy me? Let the furnace be heated sevenfold. Bind them and cast them into the fire.
it begins.
Take the ark!
Lady, allow God, gentlemen, allow God to use you despite your past. Now, when you are able to show kindness, please show it. When you're able to show compassion, please do it. So let us share our faith, let us exhibit our faith, let us act our faith. Hope may seem crushed, may seem shattered, but one thing is sure, that the risen Lord Jesus Christ is alive.
Family TV, enriching life. Issues at hand, powered by
Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Comfort and luxury at its best.
Thank you for rejoining us, for it is at hand. And like talking about you rejoining us, we have somebody who is in studio who has joined us. That is Mr. Kyeyune from NRM. It's good to balance the boat. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, and he's going to say hello to us, and we are going to pick off. We started off with the political landscape, how it has changed since 2020. We know that COVID hit so many sectors, but also the political sector was hit. Mr. Lwanga was telling us how it was so hard, trying to get people together, no rallies, but we were having meetings, but also also having these meetings because of social distancing, you have to get a big space. There was a lot of challenges right there, getting into even the finances. And we went on to the current political issues that we have, the major political issues. And before we went off a break, Mr. Lwanga was telling us about the bureaucracy. You know, you have to seek permission where you are supposed to be informing. Now that is where we misinterpret the law sometimes, something that mostly the people on the grassroots may not understand. But our people up there, that is why we are here to talk about it, so that something can be done. We need to work. Politics is evolving every other day. Political parties are evolving. So leadership ought to help us. And I wanted you, Mr. Kyeyune, to first say hello to us and then pick up from the problems we have.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
So grateful that I have this opportunity. Once again, I would like to say hello to my brother and a colleague in the line of politics. And I know he's so grateful to be in a country where there is an open opportunity for everyone to enjoy the politics within the rhymes of leadership for the last 4 decades coming too.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Before we do anything, I would like to use this opportunity to send my condolences to the families of the young 6 students who perished in a car accident. I think that was quite touching.
Yes.
And I would like to use this opportunity once again to remind our parents, my colleagues, the parents, that these younger people, before you give them vehicles, mind a lot about talking, how dangerous it is to drive, especially when you are high. It's very challenging. It's quite annoying to see such an accident happening, especially where you are dealing with a vehicle which is already on the roadside. And I think we need to do a lot. And also police to remember its role of removing such vehicles within the ambience, within the areas where it is closer to the routes which are taking our people. Nevertheless, we want to thank God that there are many other people who are still surviving. And for those who have benefited within this period, we want to say we thank the Lord. I'm so happy to know that we as Ugandans are starting now to refocus ourselves on something which is very essential.
Yes.
If we are talking about the politics of this country, we are actually talking about the future of our generation. Because so many things are done, but actually politics decides so many issues for the future of this country.
Yes.
Within the politics is where we decide the fate of the younger people, our children, our young ones who are developing, the ones who are moving away from childhood to teenage age, those who are going to the university, in other words, the grown-ups. And at the end of that day, we are formulating the future of our generation. Because there are so many decisions taken. When this government came into power, it had to look into issues of immunization. People don't know why we have now very strong youth, why they are talking strongly. It's because they were immunized early enough. Many of them who are perishing at early age, as we talk now, they are growing, they are going beyond the 5 years, because that was the period where almost about 10% of our children were dying before the age of 5 years because of lack of immunization. Now as we talk, a big percentage is actually growing up. They are strong, they are immunized, they are given the opportunity to exercise the importance of their life within our society. As a matter of fact, most of these are the ones who are sometimes actually don't remember how they came to be where they are now. But we want to be happy that they are there. But politics takes more other decisions, especially when we go into leaders. From LOC1 up to Parliament, and if we don't want to talk about the president now and the executive, that's where many decisions are made. And this implies that politics plays a big role. If you have a bad chairman, LOC1, you are in trouble. because most of the cases at family level start immediately with the chairman LC1. There is this woman who is abused, there are these children who are abused in a family, there are issues concerning the future of those families. Most of the families where there is family violence and so on is handled at the political level at LC1. You go to LC2, LC3, you find the development coming in.
Yes.
If you have a problem with your road, if you have a problem with your drainage system, you find that decisions are made there, the councillors are there and so on. And when you reach LC5, you are really in a very serious government. And this government is actually taking a lot of decisions. You know, that is the sub-national level of governance. So you find that at the end of the day, when we reach the parliament, you are actually entering into the areas of making laws, decision making in line with laws. They act according to the challenges that are available. They put up acts are brought into, bills are brought into parliament, and they end up into acts after being signed by the president. So that means at that level, we are dealing with legislators who are making laws of this country. Leave alone the Constitutional Assembly, which put up the Constitution. So when you go to the cabinet, when you go to the executive, you come with people or with a section of people who are dealing with policies, and they are saying, with this policy, we want this law to be put in place. When you look at that level, you are also looking at people who are taking decisions in line with what actually should be done for the development of the country. You have heard of the PDM, Paris Development Model. But that's of recent. There are so many other development programs initiated from the cabinet. And we have found out that many of the challenges which face our country, they start with the cabinet throws them to parliament, and then parliament starts making laws, relevant laws, and those are the ones improved on. So what does it mean? That none of us should underestimate the role of politics in this country.
That is true.
And the main purpose now for us to start early is to educate our people, have a mindset change. Not only think about having a change in the government, but also think about the impact of this politics. Because if you are talking about politics in this country now, it is now a known. Unlike in the 1960s and the early 80s, where the leadership that time did not understand and did not consider elective politics as a necessity. But now we all know that even after 5 years, we are going to elections. That is a norm. It's no longer a challenge. I'm happy my brother here from UPC, they did not have an opportunity to host an election. and I don't blame them, because some of these people would like the election to be there, but I think their leaders, they did not really gain enough support. So all the time they were continuing without an election, because we expected the elections much earlier than what we had in 1980.
Now you see, Mr. Kyeyune,
yes,
even with all the elections that we have and the leaders we've put in place through election, we have chosen leaders.
Yes.
We have found that there are so many major political issues that the country is still facing.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course, I know that many Ugandans look at it from that angle. But the first thing is an opportunity for you to elect someone you like in office. That's why people are still coming in. Even when there are so many people who are challenged by the leadership of, for example, UPC as an example, because my brother is here, it is still possible that there are regions, there are areas, there are constituencies, there are districts where they are still electing UPC people. There are many areas where they are still electing DP people. There are many areas where they are electing the opposition to the ruling government, which means that there is also that opportunity, that enfranchisement, giving people opportunity to choose their leaders. And because of that, we need to be very cautious when making decisions. The politics of Uganda has moved from the original thinking that if you talk about politics, then you are in trouble. It's no longer the issue now. The issue is, what are you talking?
What are you saying?
When you are given the opportunity, what are you talking? Now, when politics is growing closer to another election episode, where all of us are getting involved, where all of us are expected to come in and give our views, it's the right time for people to develop their ideologies. Put them in the face of the people. Because politics is about an ideology. What do you believe in? What do you think is the best way to govern the country? What do you think is the best way to deal with the East African community? What about Africa? How do we deal with international and local issues? In other words, what is the way forward for the development of your country, the people you want to lead? And then these ideologies are put together and they are sold out to the people through a package that can be accepted. Of course, there are so many people who are doing most of their time, they are busy criticizing others, but they are not putting their ideologies.
Yes.
The people listen to you criticizing Kyeyune, but they ask, after all that, where is our meal? What is the aim? So you find that one of the biggest challenges in this country, there are people who think they should have taken the government, but they are not ready to give people what they need to do when they take the government. And that's their biggest challenge. You find that the party now in the government, NRM, every day is busy talking about its main role in Africa, its main role in East Africa, its main role in the people who are electing it. Every day the man is talking about Echivalo. You grow use your 4 acres. Those ideologies, it is the one which it is selling. Even when it is time for burial, people are reminded that please put some money in your pocket. Work hard to improve on your health. Work hard to improve on your way of living. So the ideology is very, very important. And that's what we're asking our people. If NRM's ideology are not coming out as you expect, what else have you seen in other people's parties? Of course, every party has its own ideology. Everyone will claim. But when it comes time to place them on the table, there is one which is better. It's like a meat and the size of the weigh scale. It comes out which one is heavier than the other. And we all put this before the election, the electorate, who come out with some decision. So number one is ideological development in our country. Number two, the hurry to think about political issues other than the standing for the future of our country. Because it's not about politics. At one time, actually, I did not accept politics. I mean, parties, per se. Personally, I was fighting them. What's the purpose of a party when you cannot deliver?
Mr. Kyeyune, when you talk about political parties, we are seeing so many political parties evolving, and I would want Mr. Lwanga to tell us how our political parties have evolved and adapted to the changing political climate.
Wonderful, wonderful. But permit me to make one or two clarifications from what my brother has said.
Yes.
And I have encountered this experience wherever I debate with our people from NRM. They claim that the population growth has been more because of the massive immunization programs they have put in place. There is no single moment in Uganda where we never had any immunization programs. Immunization can be done by government and it can be done by international body. Some of us were even immunized from schools, and it was not NRM. And NRM by that time had not been born and they had never thought of even going to the bush. So I would request my colleague here, the issue of immunization, to handle it with care and to ensure that there is a constant medical delivery, health delivery in all corners of the country. And these children who have been immunized access better education, better health, and they push on. Then the other element I need also to make a first clarification is that there are a lot of programs which have been rolled out to fight poverty. Okay? And these include Entandikwa, NADC, Operation Wealth Creation, PDM, Myoga. They come with a catchword, and the catchword saturates the country, but they disappear, and with no recognized impact. Since he's an engineer, he can design a model by which these things stay And we see them after 10 years, after 20 years. And he may not roll out them massively. Then the other element, he has said that it is them who have made the certainty of elective politics. And UPC was, when it was in power, was avoiding to organize elections. That is not very true. Even in 1965, we wanted to have a snap election. 1971, we had organized an election of 1+3. Those who fear to face UPC at the vote decided to use arms. Even in 1985, December, we are going to go for another elections. Others who feared, they decided to do the other aspect. Then he's also talking about that there is excessive freedom. My brother, this excessive freedom you are talking about of association, of expression, you are joking with it. It is still very, very hard. Today, go to State Square and you talk of politics. You will know if this freedom is really existing. So, having said that, our politics also has to move hand in hand with the economy and with social services. The economy is biting. Social services are below standard. We have this biggest challenge as a country. So to drum up people to move in a certain direction, it is a very, very big challenge. However, our people are starting to adopt with these various challenges. They are adopting in several ways that they listen more to the radio, they listen more to the televisions, they listen more to these public address systems, and the others in certain regions, they have planned ahead that we are going to have political activities 2026. Make sure that you have prepared your garden, you have done what, okay, by the time politics comes, which is heavy and which is demanding, you are already set for it. Then, of course, also we are trying to see that by 2025, we are through with internal processes of key party organs, like having party presidents or chairmen, having candidates sorted out, preparing your, we call it war chest, okay, making sure that the machine is well oiled. I think you have seen that UPC has started oiling its campaign machine, bits and bits, fitting it, okay, such that it is ready, and we try it. Of course, by-elections give us an opportunity of perfecting some of the things. Now, as we are speaking, we are also trying to roll out another program where all our voters, all our party members, we put them online, okay? We are trying it. It is still baby steps we are watching, we are walking. So all of these are coming up, and of course we shall be very much ready to start working on the manifesto committee, and we are studying politically what is happening in the system.
Yes.
And some of these things which are happening in the system are going to become very effective campaigning issues which we shall put in the manifesto. Like for instance, this time we want to discuss exhaustively this tax, this taxation.
Yes.
Do we understand it? Is it better? Is it realistic to be having such type of taxes? Okay, all of these are going to become very serious issues. Of course, he has talked about that these days we drum up ideologies. Ideologies are being drummed up because we forced you to open the political space, and you opened it since 2005. But before that, it was very difficult to stand up and I say, me as a UPC, I'm articulating a mixed economy. I'm giving priority to agriculture. Bwana, you could not talk that language. You were even seen to be subversive. It is now when we have been given this opportunity, and the government should hold on it and not to retreat from it. We need it. We need to take this path where we can discuss. It would be very unfair if I don't talk about the ongoing peace process which happened in West Nile, where some communities from northern Uganda met in Arua. We need more of that. We need more of those reconciliation processes. They calm the nerves, they open the ground, and we move forward with it. Okay?
Yes.
And they make the momentum for 2026 relatively easier.
Yes.
Because you will find people who have sorted out their basic challenges, their basic misunderstandings, their long-standing conflicts. Of course, these conflicts continue cropping up. Like now we have the land conflict,
yes,
which is causing a lot of problems in northern Uganda, in Uganda here, okay? And much as they have put in measures, they have refused to go back to the traditional way of solving land matters, because the traditional way of solving land matters is to call elders, and these elders have never got so much exhausted from the villages. They are still there even in most places. People will tell you, this place was owned by this family,
yes,
and this family came here from this time to this time. Though one of the relatives he wants now to grab is just a grabber. Okay, so we need all that. By the time we go for 2026, let some of these baggages like land conflict have calmed down. Okay.
Wow.
So we need all that. We need all that. And then also the internal dialogue. Okay, the internal dialogue among the political parties.
Yes.
We need it. We need it. We need that spirit to continue building. To continue building. And once that spirit builds, it means that even when you have a crisis, you have cut-crossing organizations you can rely on.
Yes, work together.
So I put this forum for other political parties, the religious council, all these by now, they should be warming up and getting geared.
Yes.
We don't want Uganda to slide back into any turmoil. Okay, we don't want. And of course also, I make a special appeal that late this time we go for 2026, when all political prisoners have been released from detention. And once you release the political prisoners, you calm the nerves and don't target fresh ones.
Mr. Lwanga. Politics is a beautiful discussion, but the time is saying we are done. I don't know what we're going to do. I know you wanted to respond, but we might have to carry this to another day and make sure we...
Yeah, but of course it's a short one.
Yeah.
For me, I'm gratified by the fact that we are talking with a UPC stalwart,
yes,
who seem to be understanding our ideology, and they are building in slowly by slowly.
And they're supporting it.
And that's very good. We are also calling upon other parties to understand the goodwill we are trying to put in place. If there are some few misunderstandings, they can be solved. As long as we are all building this nation for the future of our generation. Otherwise, I believe there's quite a lot to talk about. The land conflicts, internal dialogue, and of course I know that people don't know that the population is increasing. People don't know that there is land is inelastic. People don't know that also development is bursting out during this period. And all this has to sit on land. So like other people said, land is one of the biggest resources we need for development.
And that is true.
Other than the capital and the human resource.
Thank you so much for coming through. I'm going to ask you to come again because this is very wide. You had responses. We still had a lot to discuss. You know, we have seen so many parties, like I started out saying, some of them have turned lemon green, and then we are seeing the blows in Noob. FDC is also looking to bring another party up altogether. So 2026 is a place, it's a place everyone has walked already in their mind. We are looking what is going to happen, and so we can't run away from politics. You are going to have to stay with us as we keep discussing these issues every other day, Monday to Friday. But for now, I want to say ciao ciao.
Issues at hand, powered by
Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Comfort and luxury